The Brewers made a trade of expiring contracts at the start of December. Colton Long went to the Mariners in exchange for Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro. Brewers Twitter panicked seeing this /line. How did a player that torched the Brewers and the NL Central in 2021 fall so hard in 2022? And why does the crew believe in Winker for 2023? That's what I'm here to explain. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. I'm the host of Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ. And here on YouTube, we take deep dives into analytics that aren't so scary. Here are 5 things the Brewers are looking for in a bounce-back year from Jesse Winker. First, simply trust the process. Winker was one of baseball's unluckiest hitters early in the season, and we can quantify that. A quick refresher on advanced analytics. Whenever you see an X, it means expected, meaning taking in a variety of metrics relevant to that stat. Here we'll use xWOBA and WOBA, weighted on-base average. It assigns a value to how you get on base. Regular on-base percentage views a double and a single the same. WOBA tries to fix that. And xWOBA takes StatCast into it, with exit velocity, launch angle, sprint speed, even walks versus strikeouts. So we can subtract xWOBA and actual WOBA to find a difference of what StatCast says you should be at. And we see that Winker has the second biggest differential, and Christian Bethancourt in first place had 100 fewer plate appearances than Winker. We can also do this with X batting average and X slug too. Not only is Winker on here, but hey, there's Toro as well. Some of these are shifts, some of these are weather related, some of these are seemingly dead baseballs. You gotta believe this will turn. Point number 2 when we analyze Winker is finding the outer third. Winker is not your stereotypical lefty slugger. He will pull the ball when needed, and he can certainly pull the ball from the outer third. He has some serious talent on those pitches away from him. Look at these swings on the outer third attacking the ball. His 2021 numbers among lefties on the outer third of the strike zone are among the best. So you figure this can continue in 2022, right? Well, not so much. His rate numbers took a big step back. But you know what's interesting? His exit velo was almost identical year over year. Well, it goes back to the bad luck again. His expected stats lapped his actual numbers. 101 miles an hour off the bat here, triple play. Hang with him. Point number 3, Winker's trying to figure out his launch angle. His pop-up rate was a career high in 2022, and his launch angle was the highest it's ever been in his career. What gives? Teams figured out how to attack Winker. His weakness has always been the upper third of the zone. This leads us to point number 4. Use your eye to attack your zones. I know what you're thinking. It's easy to say that from behind a microphone and a keyboard. But Jesse has some of the best plate discipline in all of baseball over the last couple of seasons, and that continued in 2022 despite his poor offensive numbers. He rarely chases out of the zone, but his eyes get big on elevated pitches. Hey, he's human. A lot of hitters fall victim to this. But now he's headed to a team that preaches patience and values getting on base.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
The Brewers were one of the most patient teams in baseball in 2022. This could be a great hitting environment for Winker this season. And it comes back to laying off that elevated pitch. Opposing pitchers took it to a new level in 2022, increasing the rate of elevated pitches by 7%. And he performed poorly on these pitches again. The smoking gun is he put these pitches into play at a higher rate than the frequency he was seeing them. Knowing how pitchers are going to attack you is key for success for Jesse in 2023. And finally, maybe the most all-encompassing point here, how do you stay healthy? Winker has had a major injury in 4 of the last 5 seasons. The only he didn't was 2020. And aside from it being a shortened season, there may be another reason he was able to stay on the field. He was able to be a DH for the first time in his career. And this is where he'd likely slot in the Brewers lineup in 2023. The universal DH didn't come until last season, but he was barely a DH last year. The Mariners used 18 different players as a designated hitter, mostly Carlos Santana after he was acquired. And due to injuries in the outfield and other poor performers, Winker needed to play. And he was playing through a knee injury, which he cleared up this past offseason with a meniscus cleanup. He expects to be good to go for opening day. The Brewers would especially like to keep Winker as the DH, and maybe even roll out an opening day outfield of Yelich in left, Mitchell in center, and Taylor in right. If things go according to plan for the crew, maybe even Sal Frelick and Joey Wiemer will be available to play at some point in the year in the outfield. Winker's advanced defense metrics are simply not pretty, and the Brewers could certainly use some help at the DH spot. After using 17 different players as the DH last year, they combined to hit league average. But Jesse Winker is here to do two things this season: hit and prove he's healthy heading into free agency. The Brewers are banking on more of the Brewer killer he was as a member of the Reds coming back to the NL Central. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and also make sure you follow us on social media. You can subscribe to Brewers Extra Innings on Apple Podcasts right now and soon on Spotify. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.